Hey everyone, Sam Ovens here, and welcome to this training video called Rolling God's Loaded Dice. So this is the final video in week 2's mindset training, and in this one we're really going to bring everything together, and then I'm going to introduce to you the Alchemy of Self workbook, which is a physical workbook that we're going to be shipping out to you, and you can complete all of your different mindset worksheets, put them all into this book, and then every morning and every night you can pull this book out and you want to read over it and you want to work on your mindset every single day because, you know, I'm sure by now, if you've watched all of the different videos in week 2's mindset training, I'm sure by now you understand that mindset is really important. It's crucial because if you don't think something's possible, then you're not even going to try to do it. And if you think that you're going to fail, you're not going to try and do it either. Or if you think you're not very good at something, you're not really going to try and do it either. So, you know, having the right paradigm and having the right mindset is crucially important. And having the right one literally changes your reality. And in today's video, Rolling God's Loaded Dice, I'm going to show you exactly how I program my own mind. I'm going to show you all of the different rituals and things I do so that I can program my mind for success. And I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same thing yourself so that you can really start to have some success as well and really hack your own mind and hack your own reality. So this is going to be an awesome video, and I can't wait to share this with you. And if you take action on the stuff in this video, it will seriously change your life for the better. So you want to pay close attention to this one and watch it in full. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about what does rolling God's loaded dice mean and why is it important. We're really going to talk about, you know, what I mean by that statement and what it has to do with your life and your business and making money. And then we're going to talk about what we know about reality. You know, I'm sure by now if you've watched all the different videos in week 2's mindset training, which you should have, if you haven't, go back and watch them now. But I'm sure by now you can understand that, you know, what we know about reality, what most of the world knows about it, they've got it quite wrong. And there's so much about it that we don't understand. And so we're gonna briefly go over, you know, the conclusion about what we know about reality, and then we're going to talk about synchronicity and confirmation bias. So these are two profoundly powerful things to do with your mindset. Now, a synchronicity is when you see, like, you might be interested in buying a Tesla, and you know you become interested in buying a Tesla, and then everywhere you go, you start to see Teslas just everywhere, like all over the place, and you're like, where did all these Teslas come from? And you know, that's a synchronicity. Or you might always look at the clock, and when you look at the clock, it's always 11:11, like 1111. That's a synchronicity. And we're also going to talk about confirmation bias and how these two things can either serve you massively and really help you, you know, achieve whatever you want in life, or they can really, you know, make you suffer and cause a lot of anguish and pain. So we're going to discuss those two things. Then we're going to talk about the human mind as an evolutionary algorithm. So we're going to discuss how your mind is an algorithm, and I'm going to show you exactly what that algorithm looks like and how you can really hack it to get what you want in life and in business and in your finances and all of that stuff. And then I'm going to show you exactly how I've hacked my own brain. So I've spent a lot of time, I don't know how many hours, but it would be way more than 10,000, probably more like 20 or 30,000 hours, like really studying psychology, psychoanalysis, all of this different stuff about human consciousness and reality and everything. And I've been able to really hack my own brain so that, you know, things which I'm afraid of or things which I'm not good at, I'm able to learn them very quickly, and I'm also able to make myself very good at them, and not just good, but good to the point where I can compete with with experts just in a very short amount of time. And so I'm going to show you exactly how I do that, and most importantly, how you can do the same for yourself starting today. So this is going to be an awesome video because we're going to bring it all together, and then I'm just going to show you the most important pieces to do with this paradigm and worldview, and then we're going to take action on it, and we're going to start hacking your brain today so that you can achieve some massive success. So what does rolling God's loaded dice mean? What do I mean by that term? Well, Einstein has a quote, and he says, "As I have said so many times, God doesn't play dice with the world. And Einstein got it wrong. The entire world believes they're living life at the mercy of rigid odds and probabilities. Most of the world believes that everything in this world is to do with odds, and the odds are always against us. The chances of you getting some disease are this percent, the chances of you getting sick are this percent, and the chances of starting a successful business is almost zero, because they say that 9 out of 10 businesses fail, and they say that only the elite get rich and everyone else suffers, and the chance of you being successful is just 0.0002%. They say all of these different odds, and it's like most people believe that we live with all of these odds, and that there's nothing we can really do to become successful because the odds are so against us. And really, the entire world believes they're living life at the mercy of these rigid odds and probabilities, just like, rolling dice. And what they don't know, what the whole world doesn't know, is that the dice are loaded. And what loaded dice are is loaded dice are dice designed to be heavier on one particular side, and they are engineered to roll particular numbers more than others. And they are essentially cheater's dice, since you know with great possibility that particular outcomes will occur. So, this picture on the screen here, it says guaranteed to roll 7 or 11 every time. So what they do is they make them way heavier on one side of these dice, and when you roll them, they're almost guaranteed to land on a particular side and always show a particular number. And so these dice are guaranteed to land on and produce a 7 or an 11 every single time. And they're essentially heavier on one particular side, and they're essentially cheater's dice, since with great possibility that particular outcomes will occur. So, if someone's got these dice and they're like, hey, I'll bet you $1,000 that I can roll a 7 10 times in a row, if you assumed that the person was using normal dice, you'd probably be like, yeah, okay, I'll definitely bet you, because the chances are that you're going to lose that. No one rolls the same number 10 times in a row. But if the person has loaded dice, then they're going to do that, and they're going to win, and they're going to take your money. And so that's what loaded dice are. And God plays with loaded dice. And this video is going to show you how you can play with loaded dice too. And you just imagine being able to play with dice that always landed on a 7 or 11, and you knew that. You would win every bet, you'd win almost every bet that you got into. And if you had the option to play with loaded dice or not to play with loaded dice, you definitely want to be playing with the loaded dice. And this video is going to show you exactly how you can do that. So let's talk about what we know about reality. And so we've discussed in week 2's training, we've discussed classical physics, and how classical physics tells us that, things are things, and objects are objects. Like a tree is a tree, a desk is a desk, and a human is a human. And if you see a desk, you can touch it and it's hard, and you can knock on it, and it's a physical object. And so that's what classical physics tells us. And quantum physics tells us that these things aren't really physical at all. It's more like just particles all spinning around, and it's mostly nothing at all. It's 80% nothing, and then just 20% particles. And that's what quantum physics tells us. And there's a contradiction between the two sciences, because it's one says that things are things, but one says that things aren't things at all. And so, quantum physics is what we observe under a microscope, really zoomed in, but classical physics and material objects are what we observe when we just view things with our eyes and we touch things. And do you remember the particles experiment? So this was in the video in week 2 called Seeing for the First Time. And I showed you an example about the particles, and I'll just recap it real quick. But, just imagine you had a room, and then in that room there's a tank, and this tank is just glass, and inside it there's just some particles, like there's 5 particles, 5 red ones, and the observer, this guy here, he's looking into the tank and he can observe 5 particles in fixed positions. And then the guy leaves the room and stops observing them. And then he comes back into the room and he observes them, but this time they've changed, they've moved. Now there's the 5 particles are there, but they're in different places. And 2 new particles, 2 blue particles have come in and joined. And it's as if, like, he just left the room, came back, and it's totally moved. Everything's changed. And the thing is that matter, material objects, things that we call reality, like a tree and a desk and a person, matter can't be observed without a thinking participant. And, if a thinking participant isn't there, we are not able to perceive anything material. It's a human conscious mind necessary to actually perceive anything as reality. And simply put, matter can't be observed without a thinking participant. And when there is no thinking participant there to observe it, it's like there's nothing there at all. And if you're like, well, wait a minute, no, there must be something there if there's not a thinking participant there. Well, answer me this. How do you know? Because the only way that you can know is to go back into that room and observe it. So there's no way to know if something is there or not there when we're not observing, because there's no way to observe while not observing. And the thing is that what we see and experience in life is not reality. It's more reality exposed to our method of questioning. And simply put, your hypothesis affects your outcome. So what you believe is going to happen, or what you believe is going to come true, or what you believe is a fact, is quite often going to affect the outcome and make it that. Your hypothesis affects your outcome. Now we're going to talk about 2 profoundly powerful concepts called synchronicity and confirmation bias. These 2 things are extremely powerful. So what is synchronicity? Well, synchronicity is the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. And don't worry if that definition sounds too crazy or complex, because I'll give you the plain English simple one in just a minute. But this is how, this is what the actual definition of it is. And here's some examples to really drive home this point. Everyone will have experienced synchronicity in their life. It is impossible to have lived and not have experienced synchronicity. So, I'm sure you can notice a couple of these ones which we're going to cover. So here's some synchronicity examples. So one of them is that you become interested in a particular model of car and then start seeing it everywhere. So you might become interested in Teslas. You might be like, okay, I want to get a Tesla. So you start reading up on Tesla, watching YouTube videos on Tesla, you're starting thinking about Tesla, and then you go out and you're walking around and you're driving around, and then you start seeing Teslas everywhere. It's like all of a sudden you just see Teslas everywhere. And that's a synchronicity. And another one is you become interested in politics and then start seeing and hearing about it everywhere. So you might become a massive fan or a massive enemy of Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton for whatever reason. And, you might become a massive enemy of Trump. You might be like, I really dislike Trump, he's evil and all of this. And, as soon as you become interested in it and you start thinking about it a lot of the time and start researching it and talking about it with people, then you start seeing it and hearing about it everywhere. Like, you literally start seeing it everywhere. It's in every newspaper. You go onto your Facebook account, it's all there. When you talk to people, that's what you talk about. And then when you're going around on the streets, the conversations you overhear are about it. Like, it's everywhere when you become interested in it. And another one is you think of a particular friend or family member or whatever. You just think about them, and then it's real spooky, because then they might text you right at that moment, or they might call you right at that moment. Quite often people call people and they're like, oh, that's strange, I was just thinking about calling you. That there is a synchronicity. And another one is you start to notice spooky occurrences when looking at the clock at exact times, like 11:11. So you might always wake up and look at the clock and it's 4:30 in the morning. Or you might always look at your clock and it's 11:11 in the morning, and you're just like, whoa, how come I keep looking at the clock at 11:11? And another one is you start to notice spooky similarities between you and characters in TV programs and movies. So you might start to notice that the movie you're watching has a lot to do with your own life, or the program you're watching has a lot to do with your own life. Or you might hear a song on the radio and listen to the lyrics, and it's got a lot to do with your own life. These are all synchronicities. And I'm sure that you have experienced at least some of these, probably almost all of them, because it's really impossible to be alive and not have experienced these different synchronicities. And here's the thing, most scientists and experts today will tell you that these occurrences are meaningless coincidences and they mean nothing. They just write them off as coincidences. It's like if you're thinking about someone and then they call you and you're like, oh wow, I was just thinking about you. It's kind of just like laugh. And we don't actually know how those things are connected, and if we thought they were connected, most scientists and experts would be like, don't be silly, that was just a coincidence. But most scientists and experts are wrong. So it was Leonardo da Vinci who said, learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. And remember what we discovered about reality? And when there is no thinking participant there to observe it, it's like there's nothing there at all. Look at something on your desk right now. You might, I'm looking at this can of drink on my desk, and if I leave the room and I go outside, how do I know if that can of drink is still sitting there? There's no way for me to observe it unless I observe it. So I don't know what it's doing when no one's observing it. But what quantum physics and everything tells us is it's like when no one is observing it, it's like there's nothing there at all. And the thing is that a conscious observer is necessary to view reality. So a thinking conscious observer is necessary to perceive reality and actually see reality and see physical objects and material objects. And if we take away the conscious observer, we don't know whether the object still exists or not. So in this example, we've got a person here, and he's looking at a tree, and he can see a tree, he could go up to it and touch it, knock on it, and everything, it's really there. But if we take away the conscious observer, we don't know if that tree is still there or not. So if we take away the observer, we take away the tree. And you might be thinking, no, the tree will still be there. That's ridiculous. If I go and view a tree and it's there, and then I go away, the tree will still be there. But the thing is, well, how do you know? Because there's no way to possibly know unless you go and observe the tree. And, we're talking about there's no way to observe something without observing it. And that's the thing. There's no way to observe something without observing it. It's impossible. And so, what quantum physics tells us is that when no conscious observer is there, it's like there's nothing there at all. It's like the tree isn't there. And, answer me this. I think I just covered this one. But how can you possibly know without observing it? If you're looking at your computer right now, and you leave the room and you go outside, you could say that computer is still there. It definitely is. And then you could come back in and look at it, and you're like, yeah, I told you it's still there, but you've just observed it. My point is that you can't observe something without not observing it. It's impossible. And so, what quantum physics tells us is it's like there's nothing there at all. And a conscious observer is required to see material objects, and when a conscious observer is not there to observe, it's like there's nothing there at all. And what we see and experience in life is not reality, it's more reality exposed to our method of questioning. But it gets even deeper than that. Much deeper. And now I want to discuss two profoundly powerful concepts called synchronicity and confirmation bias. I've already told you a little bit about synchronicity, but I'm going to totally blow your mind about how powerful it is in this next piece, which we're about to cover. So, synchronicity and confirmation bias. So, synchronicity is the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. Like, seeing a Tesla. So, example, becoming interested in a particular model of car and seeing it everywhere. And a confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, and favor and recall information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses. And an example is believing Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton is a horrible person, and then what happens is you start finding tons of articles and tons of videos and people who agree with you. That's a confirmation bias. It's whatever belief we hold in our mind, we tend to go out and find more information to support that belief. And what does this mean? Well, not only is a conscious observer necessary to perceive reality, their thoughts, beliefs, and theories change the way they perceive reality. So not only is a human observer necessary to see reality, but whatever they have in their mind, whatever beliefs and thoughts and everything they have in their mind, that changes the reality that they observe. And a conscious observer is necessary to perceive reality, and the thoughts, beliefs, and theories the observer has will influence what they perceive in reality too. And what we see and experience in life is not reality, it's more reality exposed to our method of questioning. And simply put, your hypothesis affects your outcome. And how did I figure all of this stuff out? You're probably thinking, well, how did Sam figure all of this stuff out? Well, I read 600 plus books on topics from business, finance, psychoanalysis, psychology, biology, physics, mathematics, statistics, and more. Tons of stuff, which is, I can't even believe how many hours I've spent researching all of this stuff. And then I also formed my own theories. So theories which were different from other people's theories. And sometimes I formed theories which went against other theories which people had. And I also formed concepts and frameworks, and then I took them to the market for real-world testing. I know a theory is useless unless you go out and test it. So I had to go out and test it. I had to test all of my theories to see if, I really had come up with something or not. And time after time, I bet the market and broke the founding myths of society and business. So time and time again, I was able to pick a really great stock, invest in it, and I was able to make a lot of money. I was also able to have these convictions about what to do with my business, like how to create the sales script, which we have in this training, it's like no other sales script that exists, because it goes against what a lot of sales training tells you how to do, but it allows you to outsell the best salesmen there are, 10 to 1. It's an extremely powerful script. Even top salesmen are this thing is insane. And, I was able to, time and time again, break a lot of the founding myths of society and business by doing my own research and forming my own theories and concepts and hypotheses and things like that. And if you want to do an experiment yourself so that you can experience synchronicity and confirmation bias firsthand, I have some easy ones you can try. So this one is a good one to try. And it might amuse some people, but you definitely want to pay attention to this, because it is an awesome one to try. It'll really show you how your brain works. So there's, I'm sure you've heard about before, flat earth theory. It's a group of people who think that the earth is flat. And at previous times in history, we believed the earth was flat, and now the bias is that it's round. However, an exponentially growing group of people now believe it's flat again. And if you have unshaken confidence that the earth is round, you will think these people are morons, and you won't listen to any of the evidence they provide to prove that it's flat. And your confirmation bias is that the earth is round, and what happens is when you have a confirmation bias that the earth is round, well, you're going to seek evidence of that. And here's the experiment. As an experiment, let go of the belief that it's round and become open to the idea that it might be flat. I'm not telling you to believe that it's flat. I'm not trying to do that. All I'm saying is, it just is an experiment. Let go of the belief that it's round and just actually take a look. Like, just be curious and look at what the evidence the flat earth people have. You don't have to believe it. I'm just saying take a look at it. And what you want to do is start listening to the flat earth theory and the evidence they have that it's flat. And you will be shocked at how much there is, and you'll be surprised to see that you actually start to believe it. And I did this experiment on myself. I saw that a lot of people were starting to rally up on the internet and YouTube and everything, and it's growing like by millions and millions of people now. A lot of people think the Earth's flat. And I thought, I thought to myself, well, that's ridiculous. But then I thought, well, hey, wait a minute. Why don't we just do this as an experiment? Because this is obviously one of my binary poles. I obviously believe it's definitely round. There's no way it's flat. So I'm like, well, let's just be open to the fact that it might be flat. And I started to listen to all these different people and what they had to say, and they had a lot of actual evidence that it was flat. Like there's a lot of pilots who have never seen the curvature of the Earth, no matter how high they go, using basic mathematics, at that height you should be able to see the curvature. And also, if you shoot a laser beam across a long lake, it just hits the same point on the other side. That shouldn't happen, because if the Earth has curvature, then that laser beam shouldn't be able to hit the same point. That means that it's flat. And so they actually have a lot of evidence that it's flat. And, here's the thing. The flat Earth theory has some convincing facts to prove that it's flat. That's true. However, they are not willing to acknowledge the facts that the round Earth party has, that the Earth is round. So they ignore the evidence that's against their belief and draw closer the evidence that's supportive of their belief. And they have confirmation bias on both sides. And they experience synchronicity and perceive reality the way they believe it to be true. So not only is a conscious observer necessary to perceive reality, their preconceived thoughts, theories, and beliefs shape the way they perceive reality. And what we observe in life is not reality, it's more reality exposed to our method of questioning. So what I mean by this is that, the flat Earth people, they have evidence that definitely supports their view that it's flat. That's true. You can't deny that. But the round Earth people, they have a ton of evidence to support their belief that it's round. And what the issue is that the round Earth people won't acknowledge the flat Earth people's evidence that it's flat, and then the flat Earth people won't acknowledge the evidence that the round Earth people have that it's round. But they both believe the things that support their theories. So it's like they listen to everything that supports it, but they don't listen to anything that's against it. And it's quite fascinating to just go over to the other side and just see things from a different point of view. And I did this with a lot of different things in the world because I just wanted to learn. I wanted to be open to things, and I don't want to be closed-minded to things. And so, I became as an experiment, I became a flat Earth fan, and I started reading about it, and I was like, oh my God, there's so much evidence they have, but there's a ton of evidence which is against them, and they just totally ignore that. And I was like, then I went over to the round Earth party, and I was like, they're doing the same thing. And I was like, it seems they both are pretty much doing the same thing. And it's, this is a stunning example of confirmation bias. Whatever you believe to be true, you're only going to go out seeking evidence that supports it, and you're going to reject evidence that goes against it. And that's a confirmation bias. And when you have a confirmation bias, you experience synchronicity. So when you're moving around and you're experiencing reality, you're going to, if you see anyone or if you see any news that supports your theory that the Earth is round or flat, you're going to pull that closer to you. But if you see anything that's against it, you're going to reject that. and that's synchronicity and confirmation bias. And here's another one to do as an experiment, and it's Trump versus Hillary. So many people believe that Donald Trump is the most evil man on earth, and many people believe that Hillary Clinton is the most evil woman on earth. And many believe Donald Trump is the best president ever, and many believe that Hillary could have been the best president ever. You know, there's people on both sides, and they both have extremely strong convictions in their beliefs. And if you have unshaken confidence that either one is good or evil, you'll think the opposing party are morons, and if you won't listen to any of the evidence they provide to prove that they are not, and your confirmation bias is that one is better than the other, and you'll seek out evidence that confirms that belief, while at the same time ignoring the evidence that doesn't support that belief. So, you know, if you're a massive Trump fan, then you're going to go out and you're just going to be looking at sites, and you're just going to be looking at information on Facebook that supports Trump. You're just going to be collecting that stuff. You're also going to be siding with other people who support Trump. And then if you see people who support Hillary, you're going to be like, you're going to shut that out. If you see an article come up that says that Trump's bad, you're going to shut that out. And you're only going to pay attention to the stuff that confirms your belief. And same thing with Hillary fans. If you're a massive fan of her, you're only going to seek evidence that supports it, and you're going to reject anything that's against it. And as an experiment, let go of the belief that the one you like is the best. So if you like Hillary, then just let go of that for an experiment and go and look at Trump's side. And if you like Trump, let go of that as an experiment and go look at Hillary's side. And I'm not saying you have to believe any one of them. I'm not saying, change your belief or anything like that. I'm just saying do it as an experiment because it's fascinating to see what happens. And you want to start listening to the opposing party's views and evidence. And you'll be shocked at how much there is. And you'll be surprised to see that you start to believe it. If you're truly open-minded and you go and start listening to either side, they have a lot of valid points. But they also have a lot of invalid points, and either one kind of fails to acknowledge the invalid ones, and either one stresses the ones that are valid. Like, it's just the same kind of thing as the flat Earth theory. And the thing is what we see and experience in life is not reality; it's more reality exposed to our method of questioning. And simply put, your hypothesis affects your outcome. So if you believe that the Earth is definitely flat, then you're going to experience a reality that kind of confirms that with you, that the Earth is flat. You're going to run into other people, you're going to run into YouTube videos, you're going to start seeing different people tweeting about it. It's going to be like, when you become interested in Teslas, you start to see Teslas everywhere. When you become interested in flat Earth theory, you'll start to find all of this flat Earth information. And if you become interested in Trump, then you start finding all of this Trump information. If you become interested in Hillary, you start noticing all of this Hillary information. And simply put, your hypothesis affects your outcome. So if you believe in the flat Earth hypothesis, that's going to affect your outcome. You're going to perceive a reality that confirms that. And that's what's called a confirmation bias. And now what I want to talk about is the human mind as an evolutionary algorithm. And the human mind is an algorithm. So, the way it works, it's fascinating. The way the human mind works is it's just like a very, very good algorithm. And every piece of research I've done on it just keeps ending up on the same thing. It's like the human mind is an algorithm, and this is how it perceives reality. It's just crunching information all the time. And the algorithm looks like this. And so you've got your current situation, and then your action, and then your new situation. So your current situation right now could be that you have pale skin and you've been inside for too long, and you definitely need to go outside and see some sun. That could be your current situation. And then your action is that you go to the beach and you start lying in the sun and suntanning. And then your new situation is that you become suntanned, right? That's very simple stuff. But this is how your mind's algorithm works. Or your current situation might be that you're bad at math, and your action might be that you don't pay any attention to it, and you don't try very hard on the exam and everything. And then the new situation is that, yeah, I knew I was bad at math. But there's one key piece to it that everybody on earth forgets. And it's the hypothesis. And so a hypothesis, this is the thing which human beings have, which is unique in their consciousness. So not only do we have an algorithm, but we have the ability to forecast. So we have the ability to look into the future and think, what do we want, and what do we want to have in the future? What outcome do we want to achieve in the future? And then we're able to form a hypothesis about the future. And then we're able to look at the hypothesis in the future. Then we're able to look at possible actions we could take to make that hypothesis come true. And so we're able to forecast, we're able to look into the future and play with different hypotheses. We're able to think, okay, well, what if I wanted to do that? What if I wanted to do that? And then, okay, well, if I did want to achieve that, what actions would I take? And this is the unique thing which the human mind has. It's not just an algorithm like a computer. It's an algorithm that has the ability to forecast and think ahead and set a hypothesis. And so you could have a hypothesis about a new situation in the future. Then you could have a hypothesis about an action to take. And then with those hypotheses, you can then go and take the actual action. And the human mind has the ability to hypothesize about the desired outcome it wants in the future, and then hypothesize about what actions might make that desired outcome happen. And just by forming a hypothesis about the desired outcome in the future, and the actions that you believe are necessary to achieve that desired outcome, you're using synchronicity and confirmation bias to your advantage. So if I look out into the future and I'm like, well, I'm bad at math. My current situation says I'm bad at math, and there's a math exam coming up, and I think out into the future, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to fail that math exam. That's my hypothesis. And if I think, well, I'm definitely going to fail that math exam, then my actions are going to be, okay, well, I shouldn't even try that math exam. I should just wait 5 minutes or the minimum time and then walk out, because there's no way I'm going to pass it anyway. So that's your hypothesis. You had a hypothesis about the future. You're going to fail the exam. Then you had a hypothesis about your action, not to even try. And then that's your confirmation bias. So now you're going to make that come true, and you're going to experience synchronicity and confirmation bias to your advantage. And when I say advantage, it can also be disadvantage. If you think you're going to ace an exam, well, you're more likely to ace it. And if you think you're going to fail it, you're more likely to fail it. Because we experience synchronicities. Just like when you become interested in Teslas, you're more likely to see Teslas. And when you believe that you're going to ace an exam, you're more likely to ace that exam. Just the same thing. That's synchronicity and confirmation bias. And you are literally changing the bias of your own reality by setting a hypothesis. And let's talk about some examples. Let's make it real simple, because I know the examples help everyone just really understand it. So you could have a current situation right now that you're bad at math. That might be your reality right now. You might be bad at math, okay? Then you might have a hypothesis about the future, and your hypothesis is that you're really bad at math and stupid, and you're going to fail the exam. And then you might have a hypothesis about what action to take, and that's going to be that I shouldn't even try, because I'm bad at math now. In the future, I'm probably going to be bad at math too, so I shouldn't even try being good at math, because that's silly. And then your action, once we've set the hypothesis about the situation, then we set the hypothesis about the action. Well, the next thing is then we go and we take the action. And then the action we take is going to be little to nothing, because we hypothesize that we shouldn't really achieve anything. And then we take little to no action, and then we experience a new situation. And the new situation is bias towards the hypothesis we set for it. So the new situation confirmed that I was right and that I am in fact bad at math. I knew it. I knew that in the future I'd be bad at math. And so I knew not to even try. So then I didn't even try, and then I knew it. I'm not bad at math. I am bad at math, and I got it right. So then that's going to feed back around, and then we have the feedback loop that goes whoom, and it just passes back. And then that's just a reinforced belief that I'm bad at math, and it just keeps going around again and again and again and again. And this is how the human brain works. This is the master algorithm of your mind. And so, we set the hypothesis about the future, we set the hypothesis about the action, then we take the action, then we experience the actual future with enough time. And there's a heavy, heavy, heavy bias towards what we set the hypothesis at. Because as I've told you, what we see and experience in reality is not really reality. It's just reality exposed to our method of questioning. And our method of questioning is our hypothesis that we set. And that, if we set a negative hypothesis, we're going to expose reality to a negative experience. However, if we set a positive hypothesis, then we're going to perceive reality as a positive experience. That's how it works, because what we see in life isn't really material objects and physical things. It's more just, lots of particles all spinning around and different possibilities depending on your own state of consciousness. And my hypothesis, this is my own one, when I was back at school, I struggled with this, I had extreme struggle with this. It plagued me for most of my life so far. And so my hypothesis that I was bad at math affected my reality and made me exponentially more likely to be bad at math. So a teacher told me I was bad at times tables one time, and I just kept replaying that movie in my head again and again and again and again. I just drove it in. I was like, I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. So then every time math popped up in my life, I was like, I'd set a hypothesis. I'd think out into the future, and I'd be like, I'm definitely going to screw this up. And then that would be my hypothesis about the outcome. Then I would set a hypothesis for the action. I'd be like, okay, well, if I'm definitely going to screw it up, then I shouldn't even try. And then I'd set both hypotheses. Then it was time to take action. And of course, I didn't even try. And then my reality after the time had unfolded was that I was right. I was going to fail that and I shouldn't have tried. And it just becomes a reinforcing belief. And my hypothesis that I was bad at math affected my reality, and it made me exponentially more likely to be bad at math. I experienced a confirmation bias that I was bad at math. I experienced a synchronicity that I was bad at math. And my hypothesis affected my outcome. Now here's another example. And so you could have a current situation that you're bad at sales. So you might be introverted, shy, and horrified of sales, and you might have never sold anything in your life ever, right? So your current situation right now, I'm bad at sales. Then you have a hypothesis that you are amazing at sales. You might think, well, I'm enrolled in this SamOvensConsulting.com program, and it's got like the best sales script in the world. Like, this is incredible training, and all these people are getting results. I mean, well, what if I set my hypothesis that I'm going to be amazing at sales? And when you work on your mindset and when you learn this knowledge, you will become amazing at sales. So, imagine this for a second. You're bad at sales right now, and then you set the hypothesis in the future that you're amazing at sales. You're going to kill it. And then you set the hypothesis for the action. And the hypothesis that I should try my best because this information's right in front of me. I'm in this program. It's got the sales script. It's got all the training. It lays it all out. And I should really try my best because I think I am going to be amazing at sales. So this time you've set a positive hypothesis. You think you're going to be amazing at it, and you're going to give it all you've got, even though your current situation is that you're bad at it. And then the action is going all out with everything you have. Because you believe that you can do it, because you believe it's possible, then you're just going to go all out, give it all you've got, because that's what your hypothesis was. And then your new situation, after you've gone all out and given it all you've got, your new situation is confirmed that I was right and that I am in fact amazing at sales. And this is what happens. This is how reality happens to everyone. It just took me 30,000 hours to reduce it down to this little diagram. And so, this is what happens when you set a positive hypothesis about the future. Then you'll quite often set a hypothesis about action that's you should take a lot of action. And then when you do take a lot of action, you're exponentially more likely to experience a positive outcome that reinforces your hypothesis. And then what happens is you experience feedback. And the feedback is a reinforced belief that I am amazing at sales. I was right. Hey, I thought I was going to be amazing at sales, and then I was. Whoa, what? That's amazing. So whatever I say to myself is likely to be true now. You start to build up this feedback. And each time you start having this loop go around and around and around, and you hypothesize that you're going to be amazing at something, and then you take action, and then you experience it, you start getting better and better and better and better and better. And my hypothesis was that I was going to master sales and become dangerous on the phone. And that affected my reality and made me exponentially more likely to be amazing at sales. And my hypothesis affected my outcome. And that happened. I was bad at math, and for most of my life, my hypothesis was that I was bad at math. So, of course, I was really bad at math. But then I changed it because I needed to do math all the time, like to figure out conversion rates, to do accounting and things like that. So, it wasn't serving me to be bad at math anymore. So I changed the algorithm, and I just got real good at it all of a sudden. And then when it came to sales, I set the hypothesis that I was going to be amazing at sales, and then I was amazing at sales. I mean, it took action, and it wasn't a piece of cake, but I made it happen, and that's what's most important. And setting a hypothesis about what you want to achieve in life exponentially improves your ability to achieve it. It puts the power of synchronicity and confirmation bias on your side. And it loads the dice in your favor. And rolling God's loaded dice is when we hack our mind's evolutionary algorithm and set the hypothesis to be exactly where we want it. So remember how I was talking about how Einstein thought God doesn't play dice with the universe. In fact, he does, and it's more loaded dice than even normal dice. And so everyone in life is, thinking that all of these odds are against them and everything, but they don't actually understand that they set the odds. They distort their odds by whatever hypothesis they have. So if you set a hypothesis about the future that you are going to be, amazing at something, then you're much more likely to make that come true. It's like you're starting to load the statistics on your side. You're starting to load the odds on your side. And rolling God's loaded dice is when we hack our mind's evolutionary algorithm and set the hypothesis to be exactly where we want it. And our mind then goes to work optimizing for that desired outcome. Now I've explained all of this to you. I've really brung it all together. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground in week 2. And now we've boiled it down. We've boiled down, really the human situation and all of mankind and the universal theory of everything into one diagram. Now it's time to hack. I'm going to show you how I hacked my own brain. I'm going to show you the exact processes I did, the exact things I did, the exact rituals, everything. I'm just going to expose everything to you about how I did it. And then I'm also going to show you how you can hack your own brain too. So hacking your brain and reality. So here are the different action items which you want to do here. Now, first and foremost, you must watch all of the videos in week 2 in full from start to finish and complete all of the worksheets. If you're one of those people that's watching this one but you didn't go and do the work in any of the other ones, this stuff isn't going to work for you. you have to watch all the videos in full from start to finish, and you have to complete all of the worksheets. So if you haven't done that, pause this video, go back and do that now. If you have done that, awesome. Now, the next action item is the Alchemy of Self workbook. And so I'm going to show you what that is right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to ship one of these out to you. But in the meantime, we can use this digital copy. Until you receive it, you can use this digital copy, which is available for download below this video. You can open this up using Keynote or Microsoft PowerPoint, or you can probably use Google Docs to open it too. And so this workbook is called the Alchemy of Self, and here's the title page. And then the second page is just some instructions. It says, instructions: keep this journal on hand at all times, read it first thing in the morning, read it multiple times during the day, and then read it again at night before bed. The practices contained in this journal are incredibly powerful and will change your life. Do not forget about this. And I mean it with this. This thing is powerful. And then on the first page here, we have important things to remember. Because honestly, the biggest issue human beings have is their memory. Like, have you watched that movie? It's called 50 First Dates. And I think it's got Drew Barrymore or something in it. And anyway, every day she wakes up, she forgets everything. And she doesn't know what happened yesterday, and she doesn't know anyone. She totally forgets everything. It's like every day she wakes up, her memory's wiped. And what's fascinating is that's pretty much what all human beings are like. Not to that extent, but we forget a lot. And why it's important to have this Alchemy of Self workbook is because we remind ourselves of everything. And so first of all, we have the important things to remember. And the first one is, it doesn't matter what is true, only what you believe is true, because with work that will become true. And your thoughts create your beliefs, and your beliefs become your reality. And the universal theory of everything in the master algorithm of evolution is beliefs, actions, results, feedback. And you must intercept your own algorithm at the beliefs stage. Take massive action with your new beliefs, experience your new results, and then listen to feedback and iterate your beliefs and actions again and again each time to perfect the process. And then number 2 is where you are in life, your current situation, it's all you're doing. So you built yourself and your life, and it's you who's solely responsible for where you are right now and where you go in the future. And there is no external force, person, or thing against you. It's all you. So these are just, good reminders. I'll go over the rest of them. We are not physical bodies bound to Earth by gravity with a hopeless existence. We are the evolution of light, a waveform experiencing a consciousness, and what we perceive to be reality is simply a magnificent illusion. We create our own realities through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And the best way to live life is to evolve yourself and achieve whatever you want, to become whoever you want to be. And we are not the highest version of ourselves which we can imagine. We are the lowest version of ourselves which we can accept. And what you must do is understand that you will do nothing to achieve your dreams, but fight like hell to not breach your standards. And if you want to achieve your dreams and goals, you must turn them into irrefutable standards. Number 5, be constantly aware of your own patterns of existence. As humans, we are constantly in conflict between the person we are right now and the person we want to become. And the two selves are often at war with each other and create a waveform-like pattern of highs and lows. And take note of the highs and the lows and look for markers to warn you of the turns so that you can catch yourself and correct them. And the key to all evolution is variation. And when you start to grow tired of what is in the light, you must face what is in the dark. And we must understand the dualism that exists in our mind and lose the binary stance of one true right and wrong and one true me and not me. And nothing is static, and everything in this universe is forever becoming. The real question is, who am I becoming? Number 7, our minds are on-off system that are programmed over time to believe certain things, and our experience of reality is simply the result of those beliefs. And when we experience something or think of something, we stack a rock on a particular set of scales either positive or negative, and each belief is a scale, and whatever side has the most rocks on it, that's what we believe. And what we believe is our reality. And, why I've listed these out here, it might sound repetitive because we've already covered all of these, but seriously, I still read these multiple times every day, because the last thing I want to do on earth is forget about this stuff. It's one thing to learn something, but once you learn it and it works, you don't want to forget about it. That's why I write this down, and that's why I have this thing. So if you're thinking, I've already heard this, good. You want to just keep reminding yourself of it until it just becomes, you just totally understand it. And be constantly aware of mental feedback loops. And what one thinks is what one thinks about. And a circular relationship where cause creates effect, and effect bends back around and feeds back into cause in a self-fulfilling reflexive cycle. And mental feedback loops can build you up to be the best in the world or break you down till you consider taking your own life. And make sure you catch the downs and feed the ups. And most people's character has become so strong and defined that it's reversed the roles and it's pulling the strings on its own master. You have to pin your character down and define exactly who it is and what it's capable of, and then figure out what you really want to achieve in life and see if that character is fit for the job. If the character isn't fit for the job, it's time to design one who will achieve it with ease and make the conscious decision to grow into it. And your character is changeable, and you pull the strings. So these are things which you want to read every morning and every night just to remind yourself, because we forget. And this is how you change your paradigm. You've got to remind yourself of what everything is. And then we have a daily ritual. And so here's our algorithm again. It's beliefs, and we intervene here. Then we take massive action in alignment with our beliefs. Then we experience our new reality becoming. Then we experience feedback, and we iterate upon this process and improve. This is the scientific method. And so here's our ritual. Number 1, first thing in the morning, as soon as you wake up, read this Alchemy of Self journal from start to finish. Remind yourself of what you want to achieve with your life, who you are becoming, and the legacy you have already started to leave. You are powerful beyond measure. So first thing in the morning, you want to do number 1. And when you look at your vision board and your goals for the future, read them out loud to yourself, and then imagine you having already achieved your goals and your vision. So I'm going to show you this soon. I'm going to go over these a bit later, because I'm going to show you what your vision board and all of this is. But on this page here, we have the daily ritual, and it shows you exactly what to do every single day. Simple list. Then we have daily performance tracking. So once we want to hack our own brain, and we want to set a hypothesis and everything, the most important thing we need to do is track it. We need to track it over time every single day to make sure that we're doing it, because human beings just forget, and they start doing something for 3 or 4 days, then they just let it go. They start doing something for 3 or 4 days, and they let it go. You need to track it, and you need to have a performance tracking sheet like this one. So I've provided you with one here. And it says, make sure you track your performance every single day so that you make ticking this sheet the sole desire you have each day. And just focus on ticking off the boxes every day for 30 days straight, and things will seriously start to change in your life and your business. So the fascinating thing about human beings is that it takes around 31 days to create a new habit or get rid of a bad one. And it says down here, it takes 31 days to create a new habit or get rid of a bad one. Stick to the program for 31 days and fight with everything you have inside of you to create a new version of you capable of success. And it's right here for your taking. All you have to do is commit and do the work. And so, each day what you want to do, there's an example line up here. You want to complete this worksheet or this performance tracking sheet. And so number 1 says date. So you put in today's date. Wake up time. What time did you wake up? Exercise. Yes or no? Did you do your morning mindset? Did you go over this whole journal in the morning? Yes or no? Start time. What time did you start work? 7 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever. End time. What time did you finish work? And if you've got a part-time job, it's fine. You might not start until 5 p.m. and you might not end until like 9 p.m. or something. Write it down. Then put your performance percent. How would you judge your performance for that day out of 100%? Were you really bad? Were you really good? 0 to 100%, what would you rate? Then your night mindset. Did you go over your Alchemy of Self journal at night? Yes or no? And then your bedtime. What time did you go to bed? Write it all down. And you want to do this each day. You want to track it. And you'll be able to see where you fall off. Because if you start doing this and then you get like 4 or 5 days, then you fall off. Then you get like 4 or 5 days, then you fall off. You'll learn. You'll learn your pattern of existence. And then you'll learn next time when you get to that 5th day and you start getting itchy to go and break it again, you know. You know this is your marker. You know this is where you're about to trip up. So you are extra careful on the 5th and 6th day. Then you break through and then you keep going and keep going. Once you hit 31 days, it's gone. Seriously, once you do something for 31 days, the bad habit's gone. It's like it never even existed. There's people who are like, I'm not a morning person. Like, what a load of crap. You're not a morning person because you go to bed late. And a lot of people are like, I'm not good at math. Yeah, that's because you never studied math. And a lot of people are like, I don't know how to spell. It's because you never tried to. And so everyone thinks they're this person and everything, but no shit. You never tried to do it. You don't believe it. So of course. And so, this is what we do here. We can design exactly who we want to be and what we want to achieve, and then we can work on it. We can set the hypothesis in the right direction and in the right position, and then we can work our character. We can build this character from the ground up, and then we can start hacking our own mind and tracking our performance. And believe me, once you hit that 31st day, boom, everything changes. It's like, I used to think I wasn't a morning person. I used to think, oh no, I'm not a morning person. I'm not. Said a whole bunch of crap like that. And now, I've woken up at like 4 a.m. for about 30 days or something. It's probably more than 30 days, but now it just happens. It's like 4 a.m. comes around and my eyes are just like, click. I'm up. I just sit up. I'm out. And then I go to the gym, do my 45-minute thing. It's like I don't even have to think. I'm just doing it. And then I get in the shower and then I have it start with it hot and then I flick it all the way to cold because I want to put myself through some tough stuff first thing in the morning so that I've built up momentum to just crush through the rest of the day. And if you wake up at 4, if you go to the gym and then you have a cold shower, like by the time most people are still asleep or by the time people are out drunk in the city and they're about to go home, you're already up and have done all this exercise and you're already cranking out the work. And so, this is what you want to do. You want to track your performance. And once you get to this 31st day, it just becomes your reality. And then what we do is we have this, and this is like a vision board. And this is the Sam Ovens identity. Obviously, you would edit this. So you'd put the Mark Zuckerberg identity or the Bill Gates identity, whatever your name is, you change it. And then what you do is you want to put in your, keywords which you want to, which you would associate with your identity. So I put like billionaire, reformer, revolutionary, contrarian, titan, icon, god, genius, philosopher. These are all keywords which I want to describe me and this character which I want to grow into, this identity which I am becoming. And so you put some keywords here, and then you put in some different images of people and things which you want to achieve. So, I've got Carl Icahn here, who's like probably one of the best corporate raiders in the world. He's a finance guy. I've got a Gulfstream G200, one that I want. I've got a helicopter here, which I want. I've got this property here in the Caribbean, which I want. There's a photo of Peter Thiel, who's one of my favorite entrepreneurs. Here's George Soros, who's an extremely good hedge fund manager. He's like a genius when it comes to finance. Then here's Muhammad Ali, and he's just got the best willpower and mental stamina, and he's just how do I describe it? He is he's just relentless. His pain threshold is extremely high, and so I want to take elements out of this character and build it into me. I want to be like Muhammad Ali when it comes to my willpower and my ability to tolerate pain. I want to understand numbers and finance like George Soros. I want to be a ruthless corporate raider when I want to take those elements from Carl Icahn, and I want to have a lot of the elements which Peter Thiel has. So I'm kind of borrowing these different elements from these different characters to form my new identity. And this is awesome because you're literally just like building a movie character. You think about what you want to achieve in your life, and then you think about the characteristics you need, and then you just build them all up. And then here's this apartment that I want in New York, and here's what it looks like inside. Then here's this place I want to get in Aspen. And so, this is kind of like a vision board, and we call it like the Sam Ovens identity, or you would call yours your name identity. Change the words, insert the different images. And it's really easy to do that. You just grab the images and you just drag them in. You can just move them around. And so you can do that yourself. It won't take you too long. And you really want to build this up to be like, yeah, that's what I want to become. I want to become this. I want to get this. This is the identity that I want. And so you do that. And then what you do every morning and every night is you pull this out, you look at this. You read these words. These words define you. These words define the person you're becoming. And these different people, you take different qualities and characteristics from them and you build them into your character. These things inspire you and they build you up. And, this all kind of merges together and it starts to become this new character which you're building. And then what I have on the next page is the Sam Ovens legacy to date. And so you'd change this around and you'd have the Bob Jones legacy to date or whatever. And then here on this page, we put in things which we've already achieved to date. So here are things which we want in the future, and then here are things which we've already achieved. And what this does for your brain is, when you put things which you want to become in here, you're setting that evolutionary algorithm to achieve something. You're setting a hypothesis about the future. So remember how I said your hypothesis affects your outcome? Well, yeah, it does. So you want to set it for things you want instead of things you don't want. Most people set their hypothesis for the very thing they don't want. They put it as like, oh, I don't want this, I don't want anything bad to happen to me. That's their hypothesis. If your hypothesis is you don't want anything bad to happen to you, well, shit, probably something bad's going to happen to you. Because that's a horrible hypothesis. If you have a negative hypothesis, you're going to experience a negative outcome. If you have a positive one, it exponentially increases your chances of experiencing a positive one. So here we set our hypothesis for the future exactly how we want it. We build our character and we build our identity to spec. We pick the different characters here which we want to draw for inspiration. And here we remind ourselves of the evidence we've already stacked up in our favor. Because it's one thing to look out in the future, but as you start to make progress, you want to document that progress. You want to look at the things you've achieved and be like, yes, I'm already making some progress towards this goal. And so here it says the Sam Ovens legacy to date, multimillionaire, consulting.com, world's best consulting trainer, and revolutionary thinker. And I say these things because these things have already happened. And, here's me in my apartment in Manhattan. Here's these different programs. Here was when Entrepreneur did an article on me. Here's our new consulting.com office. Here's Forbes 30 under 30. They put me on that list. Here's the private jet trip with the millionaires. Here's my mastermind people. And then, here's this office I used to work in my garage and the consulting.com logo. It's important to remind yourself of the progress you've already made towards your goal, because sometimes you can forget about that too. Like sometimes you can wake up and you feel depressed, and then most people don't think, well, why am I depressed? And if you answer the question why, it's because there's no reason. It's just because you just are being depressed and you're being an idiot, really. You need to remind yourself of everything. So you remind yourself of what you want, then you remind yourself of how far you've come. And don't worry if you haven't come very far yet. Maybe you haven't made any improvements towards your mission. But your first thing you want to put here is like your decision to like join this program, for example. So I'd put a photo of like consulting.com and be like, this is the first step. This is the first step in building my legacy, is that I made the decision to invest in myself. And you might feel like that, oh, that's not anything. Like, trust me, that's a lot. If you've just invested money in this program and you're actually one of those people that's watched the videos up until this point, your chances of success are so much higher than a normal person, it's not even funny. You're pretty much already there. And so it seems like nothing to you, but that's a massive, massive decision. And so you should be proud of that. You want to put that here on your board. And you can just leave the rest blank. If that's all you've done so far, so what? How long into this are you? A week, 2 weeks, a month? Of course that's all you're going to put there. I couldn't put anything here after a month. I didn't even have the intelligence to join a training program. And nothing like this existed when I was alive back then. So, you want to map out your legacy. Or if you're someone who's in this program and you're slightly more evolved than the people who are just beginning, you want to map out your legacy. Like, what have you achieved so far? Remind yourself. It starts to make you feel proud. Like, oh, well, like I've actually made a lot of progress. And then here's the next part, which is the Sam Ovens story. And here we plan out like our story of how it's been so far and in the future as well. So the Sam Ovens story, from broke in his parents' garage to world-leading consultant, consulting.com leading the consulting revolution, reforming education and employment, and changing the way an entire civilization views reality. This is the unfinished story of Sam Ovens. And so you would edit this round and put like the Bob Jones story, and then you'd write out like parts of your story. And this is how you do it. This is how you really get your brain's algorithm going. So here what I do is I map out the different parts of my story, like my 9-to-5 job, my parents' garage, my first business failure, move to Manhattan, 10 million by 26, students' results, 1.0 training programs. These were the old accelerator programs. Then my 7-figure students and taking them on a jet. And then the consulting.com, acquiring that domain name, building out this office, hiring the team. Then when Forbes put me in their 30 under 30 list and they valued my net worth at $65 million, it's hard to believe that, back here I made like 40 or 50 grand a year New Zealand, and now here by this chapter it's 65 million. It's pretty crazy. And then the 2.0 platforms, which we're rolling out right now, which you're in right now. And then what's coming up next, which is the marketing firestorm. And it's when I am just going to unleash something which no one else has ever done before onto the market, which I've appropriately named the marketing firestorm. This is the next chapter. And so what happens is when I look at this, I'm like, okay, I've already made this progress. Wow, I've actually come quite far. I've actually come further than I thought. Why am I being depressed? That's stupid. I'm actually doing well. And this is the conversation your brain starts to have. It's like, wait, why am I sad? Like, things are going good. And then you're like, oh yeah, and that's what I'm excited about. This next thing, the marketing firestorm, like you start getting pumped up. And so remember how I told you your life is like that movie, The 50 First Dates, with Drew Barrymore, who like wakes up every morning, she forgets. Seriously, this happens to humans. Like every morning you wake up, you forget a lot of stuff. You forget what your vision is. Like who do you want to become? You forget this. You forget what legacy you've already laid down to date. You forget what things you've achieved. And then you forget your story. You forget what you've achieved. You've forgotten the milestones and chapters of it. And you forget that next chapter that you were so excited about achieving. And by reading through this story thing here, it gets you pumped up. It's like, it's getting you really pumped up, and it's reminding you of what you want to achieve. And doing this every morning and every night, this is programming your brain. It's like remembering exactly what you want to achieve. Because seriously, I see people and they're like, yeah, I want to start a business, I want to make money, I want to change my life. And by the next day, they've forgotten. And that's what happens. Like, it's one thing to decide you want to do something. It's another thing to not forget it. And so that's why you want to keep reminding yourself with this journal. And so what I like to do is plan out like, all the chapters that I've already achieved, the next one, and then I even plan out like, way further in advance. So on my own personal one, I've got this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, but, I'm not exposing them here because I don't want to reveal all of my secrets. Like, these are my trade secrets for like the next things I'm going to unleash with my company, and I don't want to unleash those ones. I'm telling you guys pretty much everything else, but it's not wise to tell you my plans for the rest of the year and next year and stuff like that. And then you have next chapters coming soon. And so you want to do that. And then we have the Sam Ovens Manifesto. And so you'd put the Bob Jones Manifesto or whatever. And this is where we write down like who we want to become, but we're writing about it as if it's already happened. So this is really powerful, and you want to take some time to really write this thing because it's fascinating how it comes true. So it says, Sam Ovens is a billionaire entrepreneur, philosopher, and reformer. He is famous for reforming the world's education and employment systems through his scientific method of business creation. Sam's revolutionary alchemy paradigm and worldview shook the world and changed the way an entire civilization viewed reality. The name Sam Ovens is synonymous with consulting and paradigm shift. Through consulting.com, Sam led the consulting revolution, which set off the largest wealth transfer and economic reformation in the history of the world. Sam had a prophetic dream to help the everyday people forgotten about and discriminated against by education and employment systems. Sam mastered the art of business creation and created a new paradigm and worldview so that everyday people could start their own consulting business and perceive reality in a new way. The consulting revolution allowed everyday people to control their own fate, gain wealth, and experience the freedom they deserve. And Sam brought the uneducated, lower class, and middle class to the top. Then it says, Sam lives in New York City in the penthouse of 432 Park Avenue, New York City's tallest and most exclusive building. Sam has a huge development in the Caribbean called Atlantis, where he has a private helicopter and multiple houses for consulting.com retreats. And this is what, I've already got underway. We've already got paperwork moving for this Atlantis development. So we're going to have a place in Atlantis, it's not in Atlantis, but we're going to have a place called Atlantis in the Caribbean. And every month I'm going to go there for 1 week each month, and I'm going to hold like a retreat. We're going to have some live events and workshops and stuff there. And it's also the place where I'm retiring my parents, and they're going to run it as a bed and breakfast and stuff while I'm not there. So this is a big thing which I've wanted to do, and it's already in motion. And it says he also has properties in Aspen and California and lives between the four of them. And he travels in his Gulfstream G200 and lives with his photographer and artist girlfriend, Ashley Fraser. So you're writing down exactly what you want to achieve. My goals have shifted a little bit. Like when I first started, I just wanted to make money because I just had survival on my brain because I was broke. My parents didn't have any money, and I just wanted to be able to eat food and have my own place and have clothes and have a life. So survival was my first and foremost priority. And so I really, truthfully, I just started my business because I wanted to make money. And, I also wanted to have a Ferrari and things like that. That's the truth. But over time, I've been able to make so much money that I don't need any more money. I live pretty simply. I don't actually need any more than what I have. I already have an insane amount. So, I had to, figure out, well, what am I actually doing? I'm no longer in survival mode. So, I had to come up with a new reason why I'm doing all of this. And my new reason why is I'm not doing this for me at all. I'm doing this for what I have called the everyday people, forgotten about and discriminated against by education and employment systems. Because that was kind of me when I was younger, the school system kind of spat me out, and so did the education and employment systems. I hated it, and, it really, a teacher telling me I was dumb at times tables, made me think that I was dumb at it. I didn't have a very good experience going through these systems, and I know that a lot of other people don't either, and they've kind of been rejected and discriminated against by these. And so I changed my vision. Like, I want to reform all of education and employment systems for the whole world. Like, I want to change the whole world's education and employment systems. So, my things have shifted, and now this gets me up in the morning because this is what I want to do. Like, this is the thing I want to do. And, this is what you want to have in your manifesto. You want it to be exactly what you want to do. And it's got to be powerful. It's got to it's got to be so big that it makes you even scared a little bit. You're like, oh my God, this is big. This is what you want to put in your manifesto. Because believe me, I've made these things smaller before and they always come true. So I'm like, well, I may as well make it big. And I'm probably still thinking too small. I'll show you one this is my actual one from 2016. No, this was 2015, sorry. This was the one I wrote in 2015. And it's all come true. And if you don't believe me, well, in Accelerator 1.0, I shot this video like more than a year ago, and it came true. So I mean, like, there's video documented evidence that I create these identity things and then they come true. So, it's not even me just making that up. For year after year, I keep making these things and they keep coming true. And it's not just enough to just create this thing. You have to take action too, obviously. You can't just create this awesome identity pack and then just have a sleep for the rest of the year and then expect it to come true. That doesn't happen. You have to take action as well. But this thing it's scary. Like, whatever you put on this thing, and if you work hard, it comes true. And it has for me year after year after year. I just keep smashing this thing out of the park. And so I think it was like a year and a bit ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I wrote, Sam Ovens is a successful entrepreneur who helps consultants and coaches grow their businesses with the 4-pillar framework. He lives in New York City with an amazing apartment with a view. He makes $5 million in revenue and $4 million in profit, and he's known to be the go-to person. When I wrote this down here, I was like, yeah, right, Sam, as if that's going to happen. I was like, amazing view over Manhattan, that's going to be expensive. I doubt you'll have that. $5 million, I thought I was stretching it. I thought I was being a crazy person. Well, last year we did 18 million. So this smashed it out of the park, way more than what I put here. And so this is an example of one I put before, and I nailed it. So, now I've redone mine and I've made it bigger. And don't worry if you don't have the confidence to make yours big like this right now. But my point here is that you want to stretch it. Like, if you think you want to really stretch it, like if you only want to make like $2-3 grand a month, that's too small. Make it bigger. Like, really stretch it, because you'll be amazed at how it comes true. And so that's why I've gone so big with mine. And so it keeps going here. So Sam is the CEO and founder of Consulting.com, the world's leading e-learning platform that helps everyday people start and grow successful consulting businesses and live lives of freedom. And Consulting.com has offices in Dublin and New York City and makes $100 million per year in sales with $50 million net profit. And it has a private valuation of $1 billion US and is about to list on the NASDAQ to become one of the world's most sought-after unicorn companies. And Sam is featured on the front page of Fortune, Wall Street Journal, Time, and Rolling Stone magazine. Sam is on the New Zealand Rich List. It's funny, I'm already on this thing. 65 million US is 94 million New Zealand, and the Rich List starts at 50. So I'm way on that thing. And I thought that would be a push to get there by 30. I'm on it by 27. And I'm not just on it, but I'm like way on it. So that's funny. And is world known as a profoundly powerful economic reformer. And Sam will stop at nothing to achieve his goals and tear out the heart of his competition. And he is known to float like a butterfly, helping the entire world as his friend. But when anybody gets in his way, he stings like a bee and decimates them into extinction. And what's important here is that you'll notice, like, wow, how come that's kind of two things? It's kind of like he's so nice and wants to help everyone, but he's also vicious. And it's important to understand this with your goals. Like, you can't be nice to everything, otherwise you'll get your ass kicked. And you also can't be mean to everyone, otherwise you'll also get your ass kicked. You have to, with your goals, you have to absolutely want to look after your family and your friends and and also all of your customers. They should be the people who you absolutely have to look after. But when you put down about your competition, like, you're going to face competition and you want to have a different attitude for that. You don't want to be like, I'm going to be really nice to my competitors and everything. You've got to have some teeth. You've got to have some, like, fight in you. And I don't mean this, when I say tear the heart out of my competition, I don't mean this in a way that's actually like I'd go and beat them up or anything like that. I'd never do that. What I mean, though, is that I am ruthless when it comes to beating people. If they get in my way, I will bulldoze them. And I mean that in business terms, because this is how important this thing is for me. Making this thing come true, like, I will die for this thing. And so that's how important it is, like, to say that, you're going to help everyone and you're going to be nice and everything, but if anyone comes in your way of this thing, you're going to bowl them over. Because in business, you have to have some teeth, you have to have some fight in you. Otherwise, everyone will push you around. And I know a lot of people, especially a lot of people who get into, like, meditation and yoga and all of this wellness stuff, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that stuff. But quite often they end up with no money because they end up soft in all areas. And that's binary. If you're soft in all areas of your life, that means you're binary on the soft side. But then there's some people who are too ruthless, like, they're mean to everyone. And so they're binary on the mean side, and both of those people lose. And so the real way to be non-binary with this is to, treat your customers like they are, like, my customers to me are everything. Like, I stay up all night working on training for them. I dedicate everything I have to making sure I help them get customers and get results and change their lives. Like, they're profoundly important to me. But my competition, on the other hand, if anyone tries to come play in my game, well, that's a different story. Like, I'm not going to be very nice at all. And it's a different sort of nice. It's not like I'm going to say anything bad. I'll be deadly silent and creep up when no one's looking and gone. And so that's how, the competition, that's how I deal with the competition. But when it comes with the customers, it's a different story. And you want to make sure that you design your character like this too. Otherwise, in business, you'll get pushed around a lot. And Sam has 2 New York Times best-selling books on the topics of philosophy and consulting, and both are known as revolutionary texts that changed the lives of millions and reshaped the face of this earth. Sam also has a video blog called Consulting TV, which has millions of followers. Sam spends his time managing Consulting.com, reading and writing books, and making improvements to his world-leading training programs. Sam has a charity named Protagonist Fund, which he uses to donate money to causes that fit with his vision of a world free of discrimination and unfair education, employment, and economic systems. And Sam can recognize patterns in life that nobody else can see. He is the oracle of all time. And Sam works harder than everybody else. He has unrivaled focus, and the way he thinks is incomprehensible by the rest of the world. His mind is magic, and he makes everybody else study him. Sam studied the works of the world's best leaders, businessmen, philosophers, scientists, and revolutionaries, and he perfected all of their works. He tied all disciplines into one, and he is smarter and more powerful than all of the greatest masters combined into one. Sam doesn't follow or predict trends. He creates them. And Sam is the greatest mastermind there ever was. His legacy bent history like nobody else. He is the one. And so, as you can see, this is pretty intense. This is like a pretty intense manifesto. But boy, does this thing get me fired up every morning. You know, when I wake up, I feel like I have the responsibility of the entire world in my hands. Like that's how serious this day is, and that's how serious I have to be with my work and my actions and everything. And so this is why you want to, when you're creating your one, make it serious. Don't just put like I'm a it's something which is going to put someone to sleep. Make it powerful. Because I can tell you I've done these things year after year, and they just keep coming true. And so, you know, you want to really put some effort into this. Make it big. Make it scare you. You know, when you read this thing in the morning, you should be like, oh my God, it's time to go. Like, we need to get started now. And that's what this does. And when you keep reading this about yourself and you're saying it as if it's already happened, it's tricking your brain. So your brain is reading this as if it's already you. And the more you read this, and the more these little things start to come true, like, you know, this Caribbean development I've got going on called Atlantis, that this is already underway. And so, you know, the more you start to read this and you're saying, I am this, Sam Ovens is a billionaire, like your brain starts to believe that it is. And when your brain starts to believe that it is, you have a confirmation bias, and you have synchronicities start to happen. Things start popping up. You know, I put this down here, and what's funny is that these real estate agents in New York like keep reaching out to me, like the top ones, and they keep saying that they can give me a tour of this building, which is pretty funny. Like, that's a synchronicity happening, right? And you know, these things, like writing them down, reading them, and doing this work, it will seriously change your life. And then here's the next one, the Sam Ovens identity. We're really building a character here. You want to think about it as like you're building a character from like a movie or a TV program. You get to design the whole thing. And you want to design it exactly how you want it and then grow into it. So character traits, awake. Sam wakes up at 4 a.m. each day, works till 7 p.m. and is in bed by 9 p.m. Relentless. Sam will stop at nothing to win and achieve his goals. Fearless. Sam is not afraid of anything and has a pain tolerance like nobody else. And you know, my pain tolerance is disgusting. Like, I can put up with insane stuff because I've trained myself. So like if I'm working and I'm getting tired, like I can go all night. I think the longest I've gone is like 4 or 5 days or something. That's not recommended. It's definitely not recommended. And I did regret doing that. So you don't want to do that. But you know, you want to have drive to push yourself to do things. Like, you know, when you want to have a high tolerance of pain and a high tolerance of fear. Like, I like pain. That's why I have cold showers and everything, because I like it. I'm like, is that all you've got? And then punctual. Sam is early to every appointment and is known for being punctual. And I put this on here recently because I started to let this one slip. And I'll be totally honest with you, this one definitely wasn't happening for a while. And so I've put it on here and I've made it a high priority. And genius. Sam is extremely smart and is known to be the smartest person in the world. Powerful. Sam is confident and has a powerful presence. His enemies fear him. Classy. Sam presents himself well and is known for having style and class. And then your body type and style, like what do you want to look like? How do you want to dress? Haircut, short sides, long top, slick back, combed over. Dress, white collared shirt, slim fit pants, sports jacket, brogue shoes. Accessories, gold Rolex President watch. 80 kgs, skinny and slim, fit and healthy, clean cut with stubble. This is how you want to dress. You know, when you design your character, you want to design how you're going to dress, how you're going to have your hair, what's like, whether you're going to be slim or muscly or whatever. You want to design it, build this character to spec, however you want it. And then achievements. Conquer all of my fears and have full unshakable control of myself at all times. Reform the world's education and employment systems and start a revolution. Accumulate a net worth of $1 billion US. Feature on New Zealand MBR Rich List. Already done that. Own a black squirrel helicopter and get my helicopter's license. Own a Gulfstream G200 private jet. publish 2 New York Times best-selling books on philosophy and consulting, and feature on the front covers of Forbes, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Fortune, Rolling Stone, and Time. So you want to write the achievements you want to achieve. You want to design your character traits, then design your body type and style, then design your achievements. And then your mentors. You want to write down who your mentors are. I've crossed mine out because this is some programming which I'm not going to release. I'm obviously not going to release every single little element of my programming, because then someone could program themselves similar to me. So, there's some parts missing, but they're not necessary for your success. And so, you put in your mentors. One of them would be me, like Sam Ovens. One of them could be someone else. And I recommend you never have any more than 3 mentors. If you have any more than 3, all the messages start contradicting each other. It gets confusing. It doesn't work, trust me. You should never have any more than 3, and really you should only have like 1. Because you just want to know that the person you're listening to knows what they're doing, and you can just ignore everything else. And it gives you a lot of bliss when you can just forget about what everyone else is talking about and just listen to one person, and you know what they're saying is going to work. And then the branding, like how are you going to design your personal brand? And so it says Sam Ovens, revolutionary leader, mid-century, classic and powerful, sitting in front of desk, talking about philosophy, business and science, contrarian, strange, humble but deadly serious and powerful, black, white and blue. So these are the colors we use for my branding, black, white and blue. And these are different things which describe me. So, some of the stuff I talk about is strange. I want it to be that way. I also want to be humble. I don't want to be one of these people who's just leaning on Lamborghinis all the time. I don't have a Lamborghini. I used to back in New Zealand, but that was when I was all about me and all just wanting to just buy all sorts of useless stuff for myself. But I'm over that now, and I just want to help other people. So, I want to be humble, but at the same time, deadly serious. And I want to be powerful. And, you want to design your branding. And then you've got your goals. So then you'd put Sam Ovens' 2017 goals. You would change this to Bob Jones' 2017 goals. And the first one is you want to put in your accumulated wealth goals. So the first one might be how much money you want to have saved in your bank account. Another one might be how much you've paid off your mortgage, or whether you've bought a particular house or bought a car or bought a boat, whatever. You want to put them here. Then you've got your business goals. These are things which you want to achieve with your business. So you might want to save, you might want to start your consulting business and get 10 clients. You might want to make $100,000 a year. You want to set some revenue goals. You might want to create an online training program, whatever. Write down your business goals. And it's important to have balance here. You want to have accumulated wealth goals, then you want to have business goals, then you want to have health and fitness goals. So here I put, 80 kg, tanned, perfect skin, perfect hair, lean body, this and that. And then endless natural energy and determination that is able to be turned on like a button. And mental focus and clarity that is unrivaled by anyone else on earth all day, every day. And 4, free from all unhealthy foods, habits, drinks, snacks, and behaviors. So these are the health and fitness goals I want. And then personal and behavior goals. Waking up at 4 a.m. every day and going to the gym for 45 minutes. Starting the work day at 5:30, laser focus and violent action till 7 p.m. and then bed by 9 p.m. No alcohol, minimal sugar, mineral water, lots of vegetables and balanced diet. I need to have a healthy body if I want to achieve my goals. I don't really like healthy food. I'd much prefer to eat Shake Shack and Burger King. Trust me. I think everyone in the world would. But it's important. You can't eat crappy food and expect awesome output from your body. You can absolutely have cheat meals every now and then. I still have Shake Shack once a month. I still have ice cream and stuff every now and then, but I try to get my diet nice and healthy and nice and lean. And alcohol is a bad one. For a lot of people, it's not good. It makes your brain foggy. And waking up early, it's if you look at the world's billionaires, most of them wake up early. So if you just wake up early, you're statistically more likely to be successful. And facing fear front on and being afraid of nothing in the world, truly unshakable and relentless. And taking action today, living in day-tight compartments, only living in the now, laser focus. And so you want to write these down for yourself. I've put some of my ones here just to show you, just to give you examples. But don't feel like you have to have my ones. Like you can have whatever you want. Just write it down. And then unquestionable standards. So remember how I said we don't become like the highest version of ourselves which we can imagine, we become the lowest version of ourselves which we can accept. Well, it's very important that you set some unquestionable standards for you. And these are things which you'll just never break. And it's just like these are your principles. And you don't need to copy mine, but I've got these ones here, like truthful. I will never lie to myself or anybody else ever. And I used to lie to myself all the time. I used to say, like if I woke up early in the morning, I'd be like, you didn't go to bed on time last night, so you should probably have an extra hour's sleep. I thought lying was only when you lied to other people, but it's still a lie when you lie to yourself. Those are like the worst lies. So I put here, truthful, I'll never lie to myself. Punctual, I will never be late or miss a deadline for anything. Man of his word, I will never give my word to myself or anybody else unless it is absolutely certain. So, one thing I learned is that you have to be careful with who you give your word to. If you're someone who keeps saying yes to everyone, what happens is very quickly you've got way too much stuff and it's impossible for you to actually deliver on that. And so you need to be really careful with what you say you're going to do. And that's to yourself as well. Like if you keep saying to yourself, yeah, I'm going to do that, yeah, I'm going to do that, yeah, I'm going to do that. Well, what happens is if you don't go and do all of that, then next time you tell yourself that, yourself doesn't believe it. It's like last time you said that it didn't happen. So I think you're lying. Yourself can do that. Like yourself can think you are a liar. And that's what happens when you give your word to yourself and you don't keep it. So you've got to be very careful with what you promise to yourself and other people. And the trick is to keep it, don't promise many things. Like it's important to promise some things, but you want to keep those promises, you should be able to count them on like one hand, because you want to make sure you can deliver on all of them. And relentless, I will never lose my battles and never give in, not ever, not to anyone on earth and not ever. And responsible, I will watch every dollar made and spent and make sure I am always financially solid. So regardless of how much money I make, I am very, very certain that I watch all the numbers. I don't want to be fallible and think, I'm rich now, I don't need any help. Like that's how rich people get wiped out. So I'm extremely responsible with money. For the amount I have, there's people who have way less money than me and they have private jets and stuff. I still don't do that. There's no way. I'm not even going to touch a jet until I've got way more money, because I want to be responsible. And, I want all of these things to, these are my unquestionable standards. And you want to spend some time to really design this thing. And, this will probably take you a little bit of time. And you might be thinking, do we have to spend this much time building this thing? Well, this is your life. Most people live their life and then they die, and then it's like they didn't do what they wanted. And, this will take you a few hours. I mean, is it worth a few hours to completely change your life? And to me, this is the most fun thing in the world to do, because it's literally like we're just writing our own movie. We get to write down what we want, like we get to design our character like it's a character from a movie, and then we get to, start building a legacy. We get to write our own chapters to our own story, and then we write our own manifesto of how big we can dream and what we want to achieve and how we want to change the world. And then we design our identity and we design our new character. And then we design our goals and what we want to achieve. And then we go out and we do it, and it comes true. That's the best shit in the world. Screw watching other people's movies. I want to make my own one. And that's how you want to be. Like, I don't get it why people are always watching sports games and they're cheering on all these athletes on the television. I'm like, man, why don't you want to become one of those athletes? Like, I don't want to cheer on some soccer player on the TV. If I was going to do soccer, I would be that guy on the TV. And I don't want to watch a movie about some dude who, like, makes money in a movie. I want to be the guy in the movie who makes the money. Like, there's no point in celebrating fictional success. You may as well eat it all for yourself. And so, this is more fun in the world than anything else to me, because we get to design exactly what we want to achieve in this world, and then we get to make it happen. And so that's what you do. You complete this worksheet, and then you print it out, and then every single morning you pull this out. So here's the ritual, the daily ritual. First thing in the morning, as soon as you wake up, read this Alchemy of Self journal from start to finish. Remind yourself of what you want to achieve with your life, who you are becoming, and the legacy you have already started to leave. You are powerful beyond measure. When you look, number 2, when you look at your vision board and your goals for the future, read them out loud to yourself, and then imagine you having already achieved your goals and your vision. And then make the image in your mind detailed and colorful, and experience the vision fully, and let the positive emotions run through your body again and again. And what this is doing is it's stacking rocks. So like when you read out your goals, like what you want to achieve, you want to imagine yourself achieving those things. You want to start painting a picture in your mind. Like start to really see it. Like imagine like looking in your bank account and seeing like $100,000. Or imagine like walking out and getting into like a Tesla, and imagine smelling the leather and everything. And then really start building that picture in your mind. And then when you can see that picture in your mind clearly, let the positive emotions like run through your body. Like let them just run through, and just let that positive emotion run through your body. Because what happens is that in order to trick the mind fully, it's not just a thought. It needs a thought and an image. So you need to say the words, then have the thought, then you need to kind of see that image in your head, and then you need to feel the emotions with it. Because your mind uses the image, it uses the thought, and it also uses the emotions. And when you get all three of those things together, it's like, it jams it in your brain, and your brain thinks that happened. And your brain thinks that that's real. That's how you hack it. And I got this wrong for quite a while. Like, I thought it was just about reading your goals, and that was it. And so, of course, I read my goals, and they weren't really coming true, but it's more than that. It's about reading your goals, then seeing the image in your mind, and then playing or feeling those positive emotions run through your body, and really just feeling it. Because you've got to have the feelings, you've got to have the thought, and you've got to have the image and the vision. And that's how you stack rocks. And we're just stacking these rocks on the right side of the scales for us. And then you want to read your affirmations out loud to yourself, and then imagine a situation where you achieved your affirmation, and make that vision detailed and colorful. And feel the positive emotions associated with that affirmation run through your body again and again. And stack those rocks and program your mind the way you want it to be programmed. So if I scroll down here, I've included affirmations for you. So affirmations are things that you say to yourself to like achieve the things you want to achieve. So for example, if you're a procrastinator, this would be a good one. So if you're a procrastinator, you want to create an affirmation that's the opposite of being a procrastinator. So you'd say, I always think and act today. I feel heroic, confident, and exhilarated knowing my actions today will create momentum tomorrow and the next day. I feel unstoppable. So we're saying if we are a procrastinator, we want to create something which is the opposite, which is that we always act today. And then we want to say this to ourselves every day. We want to start stacking rocks on the positive side of taking action. We want to see the image in our head, and then we want to feel the feelings and the emotions that go with that. We want to really let it all run through our body. And if you do this again and again and again, before you know it, you won't be a procrastinator anymore. You will be someone who takes action. And affirmations are insanely powerful. And, these are, I can't tell you how much these have changed my life and how much they've changed all of my students' lives. These things are really powerful. So what you want to do is you can adjust mine. I just gave you like pages of my own affirmations, which I've had over the years. And so, there's one page here, there's another one here, there's another one here, another one here, another one here. Like, I've given you a ton here, so you've got a ton of examples to work with, and you can pick out ones here which you want to use for yourself, or if you don't want to use any of these ones here for yourself, that's fine. You can, write your own ones, but design them so that you say the statement, and then you have how you feel, and then you've got to associate an emotion with that, like I feel confident, heroic, exhilarated, unstoppable. Because just saying the thing alone is not enough. You need to say it, you need to think of a situation where that actually happens and comes true. So you need to play that scenario in your head, and then you need to feel the emotion and let it all kind of vibrate together, and that will start placing rocks on the right side of the scales for you. And so that's what you do, and you read your affirmations. And so if we go back to our ritual, we, first thing in the morning, we read this journal, then we look at our vision board and we look at our goals, and then we imagine ourselves having our goals, and then we let those positive emotions go through our body. And then you read your affirmations out loud to yourself, and then imagine a situation where that happened, and then do it again and again. Let the emotions run through your body. That's the key part. If you just read them, it won't work. Straight up. If you read them, it won't work. You have to read them, see the image in your head, imagine a situation where it happens, and then let the emotions run through your body. And you've got to do it repetitively. And then listen to your affirmations audio recording while resting on a comfy couch. And as you hear yourself state each affirmation, imagine a situation where you use this and make the picture colorful and detailed, and let the positive emotions run through your body. Stack those rocks and drum the new programming in. So what I do is I get my affirmations like this, and then I go on my computer and I just record. I use ScreenFlow, and that's like a screen recording thing. What I do is I just press record, and then I just record an audio of me reading through my affirmations. So I'd say something like, I think and act today. I feel heroic, confident, and exhilarated, knowing my actions today will create momentum tomorrow and the next day. I feel unstoppable. So I'll say that, then I'll read the next one, and I just read through them all, and then I put that on loop. And what I do is after I go through this ritual here, like I read all of this stuff, and then I listen to my affirmations recording again and again. I just keep drumming it into my head. And even when I go to sleep, I listen to these. And then number 5, well, this is, you want to do all of these things in the morning, and then you want to pull out your Alchemy planner and plan your day. And what we're going to ship out to you as well as the Alchemy of Self workbook is the Alchemy planner. So here is the planner which we're shipping out to you. And don't worry if you don't have it at the moment. You can print this out and use like the printed pages for now. But it has the front cover, then it has an inside cover, and then all of the pages inside it, hundreds of pages, they look like this. And what you do is you write in the date. So you would, write in the date. And then you would say 3 things you're grateful for. And it's important to say 3 things you're grateful for because this gets you positive thinking. Like it's like looking at your legacy, and it's like looking at your vision board. So write 3 things. Then what would make today great? What you want to do is stop and look forward to the end of the day and be like, what could I achieve today to make it awesome? Like if I achieved 3 things and then at the end of the day, I was just like, yes, that day was awesome. What would those 3 things be? Write them down. And then today's priorities. So, what are your priorities today? Write them down. 5 things, no more than 5. and no more than 3 things to make today great. We try and keep it simple. Then current projects. What are the current projects you're working on? Then your schedule. Like, what's your schedule going to look like today? Plan it out. And then our KPIs and metrics. So, what we do is when we start taking action, which will be in week 3 next week with sales and all of that, we write down how many sales did we make today. So if we made 2 sales, we might write 2, and then we write the amount of money we made. Or if you write 0, you write 0 sales, $0. And then SS calls, that's strategy session calls. Well, how many strategy sessions did you do? You might write 10 or 20 or whatever. Write it down. Sorry, you're not going to do 10 or 20 in a day. That was a mistake. You might write 1 or you might write 6, however many strategy sessions you do. And lead gen. What activities did you do today to generate leads? Like, we're going to cover this stuff coming up soon in the course. But what did you do today to generate leads? This is what you're doing at the end of the day. You're kind of reflecting on the day and being like, what did I do well? What did I achieve? Then training. Training's important. Like, Michael Jordan goes out and destroys it on the court, but the reason why he destroys it is because he trains. And so this program, the Consulting Accelerator program, this is a training program. This is like hitting the gym. So what training did you do today? How many hours? And then mindset work. This is important. Michael Jordan said that he shot more 3-pointers in his imagination than he ever did in real life. And, the training ground is, for a lot of athletes, the training ground is their own mind. Like Andre Agassi said he's played more tennis in his own mind than he has in real life. Tiger Woods said he had driven more balls in his imagination than he ever did in real life. Like, it's important to train in real life, but you've also got to use your mind as a mental playground too. And so your mindset work. Did you do it today? Yes or no? Did you do it in the morning or at night? Write it down. Right, morning, yes, and then night, yes. And then end of day review. Today's wins. What 3 things did you just crush today? What 3 things did you own? And then how I'll improve. Like, what are 3 things that you will do to improve yourself? Write them down. And so this is what we complete every day. This is the Alchemy Planner. And you'll have a physical copy of this. And I designed this for myself because, I wanted a planner that just had 1 page to design like my whole, to just use to track everything. So every morning I just date it. I'm grateful for what would make today great, today's priorities, current projects, schedule. Then I start my day. Then at the end of the day, I reflect and I'm like, what KPIs did I achieve? And then what went well today? How could I improve? And that's all there is to it. It's pretty simple. And that's the end. I mean, there's just a lot of these pages inside. I tried to keep it real simple. So we'll be shipping one of those out to you. And so that was number 5. So we read through our entire Alchemy of Self thing. We do our affirmations. We listen to our recording. Then we pull out our planner and we plan our day. And once we've done that, it's time to go to war. It's time to take massive, violent action all day long. Execute your day just the way you planned it. Be relentless and look fear and procrastination dead on in the eyes. Make your character dance and feel no pain. Do the work. So, I worded this one here to make you hungry. Like, once you've done all the planning and everything, like once you've got your mindset tuned up right, you've gone through your planner, you've looked at your vision, your mission, all of that, then you need to plan your day. Like, put it on paper. What are you going to do? What's it going to look like? Then, once you've done that, it's time to act. It's time to go to battle. And you just want to work like a beast. You want to just execute on everything you've put in your plan. And then at the end of the day, when you've done that, at nighttime, when you're lying in bed, complete this process again. And what you want to do is just read over this whole thing again. And then what you want to do is you want to listen to the audio. And what I like to do is listen to my audio recording while I'm falling asleep. And sometimes I even fall asleep and it's still playing in my ears while I'm asleep. And I like that because it's just programming me. I'm programming myself to be what I want. Like, whatever I want in life, I'm just going to take it. And if I want something, then I have to program myself to be able to achieve it. And, that's what all humans are really, is just programming. It depends the way you're programmed. If you're programmed bad, well, you're going to have a pretty painful existence. But if you're programmed good, you're unstoppable. And this is what this Alchemy of Self workbook allows you to do. And then, of course, you want to track it. You've got your daily performance tracking. So you want to track it, you want to track every day. Because just, what you'll find is you might start taking action, but nothing really starts happening for you on day 1, day 2, day 3. Well, of course, it's only 3 days. Like, the magic happens on day 31. It takes about 30 days to rewire new habits or get rid of old habits. And so it'll seem kind of painful for the first few days, but honestly, once you get to day 31, it's just gone. It's just click, it's gone. Like, it doesn't matter if you used to be a morning person or an introvert. Like, I've seen introverts turn into extroverts in less than 30 days. I've seen extroverts turn into introverts, sorry. I've also seen people who have been vegans for like 7 years, like, change. Like, this, if you do programming for 31 days, it changes everything. You change your whole life in 31 days. You've just got to design it the way you want it to be. You've got to put the evolutionary algorithm to work for what you want, and then you've just got to execute on it, and execute on it consistently. Be consistent, show up every day, get it done, tick it off, and you want to just have massive satisfaction each day when you get to tick off each one of these things. Nothing is more rewarding when you get to put a check in one of these boxes, because you're making your new reality come true. So that's the Alchemy of Self planner. And I put a ton of work into this to make it just insanely good. Like, I love this thing now because I use it for myself. And it's powerful. Having this thing in your hands every morning and every night, it's powerful. Like, you can make whatever you want to come true if you do the work as well. You just can't dream of things. You've got to take action as well. And so that is the Alchemy of Self workbook, and I've also shown you the Alchemy planner. We're shipping both of those out to you, physical copies. And then the daily ritual and performance tracking, that's inside the Alchemy of Self workbook, and I showed that to you too. You want to make sure that you do all of this. Watch all of the videos in week 2, do all of the worksheets in week 2, complete the Alchemy of Self workbook, make it your own, print it out, look at it every morning, look at it every night, follow the ritual, and then plan your day every day. Take that alchemy planner with you. Plan out in the morning what you want to achieve, take action during the day, and then at night reflect on that and, record your KPIs, say what you could have done better, and say what went great, and just do the work. If you do the Alchemy of Self workbook, you do the alchemy planner, and you keep up with the ritual and you track your performance, you're going to crush it. I've never seen anyone, not one person, who has done these things and not just absolutely destroyed it. The only people who don't succeed are the people who don't do this. It's really that simple. So if you want to win, if you're a winner and you're hungry and it's just time that you started winning in life, then do the work. It's real simple. And to really conclude this video, in life and business, there's only 3 things that matter. And here they are: a plan, a paradigm and worldview, and specialized knowledge. And so in life, you need to have a plan. Like, if you don't have a plan, then you're going to become a part of somebody else's plan. And if you don't have a plan for your day, you're going to become a part of somebody else's plan for their day. And most people wake up and they don't have a plan. Most people don't have a plan for their life or their day, and they end up just getting, it's just like taking a random walk. You could just get pushed in any random direction. You could get lost and wake up one day and be like, hey, I didn't want to be here. Well, you need to have a plan. And in week 2, I showed you how to set a plan. I mean, we designed your life in detail. You know, we took your life and where you wanted to go, and we just made it extremely detailed. We constructed it like a movie. And then you need a paradigm and a worldview. So, you know, it's not enough to just have a plan. You need to have a paradigm, because if you don't have a paradigm, then you're not, or if you don't have an appropriate paradigm, then you're not going to think that any of this stuff is possible. Like, you know, if you have an old faulty paradigm and someone even talks to you about changing your life, you're going to be like, that's impossible. Or if you have a faulty paradigm and it's like someone says to you, well, you could wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, you'd be like, that's impossible. I'm not a morning person. Well, that's a faulty paradigm. And it's taken me an extreme amount of effort to create a paradigm from the ground up and provide it to you guys here. And so, you know, I've given you my paradigm and worldview. It's taken me my lifetime to build, and it's powerful. I mean, you can see the results that I've been able to generate with it, not just for myself, but for a lot of other people too. And I've just really just documented out the entire paradigm so that you can program your own brain and you can install this paradigm in your brain so that you can go out there and achieve whatever you want to achieve and experience reality the way you want to experience it. And then the final one is specialized knowledge. And specialized knowledge is information on you know, a particular topic or about how to do a particular thing. And so you need to have all three of these things. You need to have a plan, you need to have a paradigm and a worldview, and you need to have specialized knowledge. And this program gives you all three. I've never seen anything else like it, and that's why I built it. Because I wanted this to be the program to end all programs. I wanted this one to just destroy it. And so I've shown you how to make a killer plan. I've given you a paradigm from the ground up. It took everything I had to put this paradigm together. It's quite a task to build one. It's probably taken me 30,000 hours or more of work to bring it all together and like get it to this point. And so I've given you the paradigm. I've given you a plan. And not only that, but this program is also going to give you the specialized knowledge. I'm going to teach you how to sell like the best salesman in the world and better. You know, I can now outsell the best salespeople in the world. And, you know, I do it easy. They come by my training now. And you know, I'm going to show you how to do Facebook ads better than the best Facebook ads person in the world. And I'm going to show you, because, you know, I've had people who are supposed to be the best Facebook trainers in the world do my training, and they're like, whoa, they've started doing it my way. Like, this training is insanely good. And I say that not to try and show off or anything. I say that because it really is. Like, I've put a disgusting amount of effort and time and attention into this thing. And so you're going to get all three of these things. You've got the plan, you've got the paradigm, and you've got the specialized knowledge. All three of them ticked off. So there is absolutely no way in hell that you can't be successful with this. Like, I've put everything in this program so that you can crush it. And if you don't crush it, that's just a decision. Like, you either want to crush it or you don't. And, you know, you've just got to decide now, do you want to do it or not? If you want to do it, it's pretty much already done. You just have to pick it up and put it on. And so let's do this. And this new paradigm and worldview, along with the specialized knowledge provided in this program, is going to turn you into an unstoppable force. And it's your time. Let's do this. Like this, if you've watched this video to this point, if you've invested in yourself, if you've gotten to this part of this program, it's on. Like, this new paradigm and everything combined with this plan and the specialized knowledge, like, it is your time. You are about to crush it. So I can't wait to continue working with you throughout this program, and I can't wait to teach you the specialized knowledge, keep working on your mindset, and start to see some absolutely incredible results from everyone in this program. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure you do the work. Make sure you download that Alchemy that Alchemy of Self workbook and change it around, complete it for yourself right now. Make sure you do the work. And it's your time. Let's do this. Let's crush it.